We all know not many brothers make it to the NHL. That's the National Hockey League. In fact, 97% of National Hockey League players are white. The announcer booths are even more exclusive. But in this morning's center stage, Anthony Amy caught up with a man who has smashed right through that glass ceiling.
The National Hockey League has existed since 1917, and it currently fields 32 teams. But it wasn't until this season that an NHL team employed a black full-time broadcaster to announce its games.
Done shot, blocked all the way through. Tanev once again got turned around, couldn't get his stick free. There's Vince Dunn on the left wing blue line, throws it down low for Tanev, and back to the near corner.
32-year-old Everett Fitzhugh is the radio play-by-play voice of the Seattle Kraken, the expansion team that just began play this fall. And although his achievement is historic, I had to ask Fitzhugh the question I know many of you are wondering.
I'll cut right to the chase. How does a brother from Detroit get into hockey and make it all the way to the NHL?
You know, I've never been asked that question before. You're the first. Growing up in Detroit, it's hockey town. You know, Detroit is called hockey town. So you're exposed to the game at a very early age. It's something that, you know, your friends do. And for me, I never played hockey. Mom always thought it was a bit too dangerous, so I was more of a baseball player myself. But I just became a hockey fan. I watched it. It was right around the time when the Red Wings were winning their back-to-back Stanley Cups in 97, 98. So for me to see a winning team in your own backyard was huge. And I became a full-fledged hockey fan when I saw the Red Wings play the Edmonton Oilers. And Edmonton had, at the time, 2 black players on their team, Mike Greer and George LaRock. I went screaming through the house, Mom, there's 2 black players on the Oilers. They're playing hockey. It was such an inspiring and cool moment for me to see that.
You heard Fitzhugh mention the players who captured his attention on the ice. Now, he is one of those who inspires all who see and hear him.
It's something that I think about, that I have thought about. And it's a responsibility that I carry proudly. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of those positive black influences within the game of hockey to look up to. You know, I had those 3 players in the Oilers. You had guys like Jerome McGinley, who just went into the Hockey Hall of Fame, Kevin Weeks and Donald Brashear, even guys on ESPN like David Amber or John Saunders. But that was really it. You didn't see a lot of other black faces in hockey in other positions. So for me, to be able to be that positive black influence in the sport that I never had is a really it's something that I take seriously.
A Bowling Green University alumnus, Fitzhugh enjoyed a homecoming in his native Detroit on December 1st. He honed his craft in a trio of hockey's minor leagues, the U.S. and international hockey leagues, as well as the ECHL. And he says doing a little bit of everything at those stops prepared him for his current role, calling games featuring the best players on earth.
I wasn't just the play-by-play broadcaster in Cincinnati or in Youngstown. I was the PR director. I was a social media manager. I was in marketing. I did team services. So I did all of our meals and hotels and bus schedules and things like that. I was the mascot on a couple of occasions. We'll file that one under other duties as assigned. When I was in Youngstown, I did sales as well. So you wear so many different hats, and you get an appreciation of the sport and of the industry as a whole.
You mentioned those 20-hour bus rides and all of that which you endured on your path to this point. Mm-hmm. You said that you knew early on, yep, this is what I want to do. But was there ever a point, Everett, when you thought, okay, this might take a while?
All the time. All the time. You always want to get to that level. You always want to get to the NHL. You always want to get to that dream job. But when it happens, you're like, oh, I'm here. Okay. was not expecting this. All right. Even though it's what you wanted, you still don't expect it.
One of Everett's big breaks came in 2018 when he was on the mic for an NHL preseason game between the then defending Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals and the Boston Bruins. It was that game where Fitzhugh proved to himself that he could succeed as a play-by-play announcer at hockey's premier level.
When I did that game, it showed me that I was closer than I thought I was. From a technical standpoint, the NHL, these players are so good at what they do that the game almost slows down for you, and it's a lot easier to call a game. It's not easy, but it's easier than I thought it was going to be. And I left that game with a very confident feeling of, I'm going to do this.
Seattle is actually the first U.S. city to celebrate winning the Stanley Cup, as the Metropolitans claimed it in 1917. And the Emerald City had been starving for the NHL's return. In October, that dream became reality. But Fitzhugh missed the Kraken's first official game as he battled COVID-19. However, he recovered in time to be behind the mic for the team's historic first home game.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside Climate Pledge Arena here in beautiful downtown Seattle, Washington. He is Dave Tomlinson. I am Everett Fitzhugh. True story. I thought about it the other day, and I was saying to myself, like, man, they're gonna open up the capsule that, you know, the 50th anniversary of the Seattle Kraken. They're gonna play the first goal ever scored in Climate Pledge Arena history, and it's going to have my voice on it. All the big moments, our first hat trick, our first win at home, the first goal at home, our first playoff win, hopefully, our first Stanley Cup, is gonna have my voice on it, and in a very humbling, non-arrogant way, it's like, man, like this, yeah, yes it is.
So now that he's officially part of Seattle's sports power structure, there's only one thing left for Fitzhugh and his new bride to do.
You got married this last year. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So I have to get to this question because I would imagine that I'm not the only one that's wondering this. Have you met Russell Wilson and Ciara, and do you guys as couples hang out?
Unfortunately, I have not met Russell Wilson and Ciara. I will say, though, that as far as a Seattle power couple goes, they are definitely goals. I've not met them yet. It's on the list. I have a little list of things that I want to accomplish here in Seattle, and dinner with Russ and Ciara is near the top. So, Russ, if you watch this, I promise it's not going to be all about football. We can talk about other things. We're good.
Everett Fitzhugh, radio play-by-play voice of the Seattle Kraken of the National Hockey League. We really appreciate your time. Very proud of you. Thanks so much for joining us on BNC. Continued good health and great success in this inaugural season.
Anthony, thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
All right, good piece right there. Shout out to Anthony Amy for bringing us that. Black excellence. Of course, we love to see it around here.